Hey everybody, great to have you with us today. Today we're talking about Paul's letter to the Philippians, and on this day, chapter 4, verses 2 and 3, and here's what Paul writes to some people in the church at Philippi. He says, I urge Euodia and I urge Syntyche to live in harmony in the Lord. Indeed, my true companion, I ask you also to help these women who have shared my struggle in the cause of the gospel, together with Clement also and the rest of my fellow workers whose names are in the book of life. Let's just stop with that. Here's two women. Their names are Euodia and Syntyche, and Paul says they were so useful in the mission of the gospel. But somewhere along the line, they got sideways with one another. So they went from serving alongside the Apostle Paul to being so much at odds with one another that they could no longer serve the gospel and they could no longer serve Paul. In effect, they could no longer serve Jesus. So Paul writes to them, calls them out in the letter, calls them out in front of the whole church and says, ladies, come together. It's important that you come together. Then Paul goes farther and he addresses the pastor, the one who's receiving this letter on behalf of the church, and says to his companion, he says, can you help these ladies? I want them to be fully at peace so that they are fully on board with the gospel. And then he enlists the rest of the church. He says, together with all my brethren there who have helped in the cause of the gospel, let's bring these women back together and make sure that they are at peace. Jesus told us in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5, he said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. And he calls all of us as a church together to say the mission of the gospel is so important that we can't let our differences get in the way of bringing the gospel, bringing the good news of Jesus to the people of our community. So, is something broken between you and someone else? Do everything you can to fix it. Is it important, this thing that you're arguing about, or that this thing that's broken? It might be really important to you. It might not be important at all to somebody else, but if it's important to you, heal it, fix it, bring peace, and let's bring the gospel of Jesus to our community in the days ahead.